Welcome to today class of nonlinear vibration. So, in this module we are studying regarding the solution of nonlinear differential equations. So, we know different methods and last few classes we are studying the perturbation methods, and in perturbation methods particularly we have seen the straightforward expansion, then we have studied this Lindstedt-Poincare method, and last class we have studied regarding the method of multiple scales. So, in method of multiple scales, so we have taken different time scales. So, this T n, capital T n is the n can be 0, 1, 2. So, then we can have T 0. So, T 0 will be equal to epsilon to the power 0 T. So, epsilon to the power 0 equal to 1. So, this is equal to T. Then T 1. So, this will be equal to epsilon to the power 1 T. So, this is equal to epsilon T. So, T 2 will be equal to epsilon square T. So, this is okay. So, this way we can write different time scale. So, by using different time scale like this T 0, T 1, T 2 similar to our hour hand, minute hand and second hand. So, we can write down the derivative and first derivative and second derivative and substitute all those things in the governing equation of motion by also expanding the primary variable. For example, in this case of this equation, Duffing equation with quadratic and cubic nonlinearity. So, initially we have expanded this x equal to epsilon x 1 plus epsilon square x 2 plus epsilon cube x 3, where this x 1, x 2, x 3 we have taken as different time scales. So, instead of defining them in one time scale, for example, in second or in minute or in hour. So, we are taking different time scales, for example, 1 hour, 20 minutes, 3 seconds. So, 1 hour, so 20 minutes and 3 seconds. So, if this time we are taking, so here we are defining, so this is 1 hour, 20 minutes, this is one time scale. So, this is the other time scale and this is the third time scale. So, T 0, T 1, T 2, that way we are defining. So, somebody can define this thing by using only the second. So, in that case these 3 seconds can be neglected with respect to the overall time. For example, this 1 hour. So, 1 hour equal to 3600 30 minutes and 30 minute 1 minute equal to 30 second. So, this becomes 60 into 60, that is 3600 second, plus 20 minutes is 20 into 60. So, 20 into 60 this becomes 1200 second. So, plus 3 second. So, this thing if you see, so this becomes 3600 second plus 1200 second plus 3 second. So, when you are comparing, then always there is a tendency to neglect this term. So, this 3 second term. So, to take care of this 3 second, so here what you are doing, so we are defining different time scales and we are telling, so for example, it is 1 hour, 20 minutes, 3 seconds. So, here all the time terms are getting the prominence. So, hour is though 1 hour equal to 3600 second. So, here we are telling that is in terms of hour instead of telling in terms of second. Similarly, this minute, so 20 minutes is 1200 second, but we are telling that thing as 20 minutes. Similarly, this 3 second we are telling in second, so that it is getting its prominence that this is another time scale. So, similar to this, so we are taking different time scale, that is T 0, T 1 and T 2, and by taking different time scales, so then we are giving importance to each scaling term and we are not neglecting some time scales with respect to the other. So, here this x 1, x 2, x 3 can be written using different time scale like this T 0, T 1, T 2, x 2 is also written in the same T 0, T 1, T 2 and x 3 is also written, and by substituting this in this governing equation, this x and also this we have already written this d by dt and d square by dt square. So, So, these two terms already we have written. So, this is equal to, so it can be written as d 0 plus epsilon d 1 plus epsilon square d 2, and similarly this thing can be written as d 0 square plus, so already we have written this term. So, d 0 square plus 2 epsilon d 0 d 1 plus epsilon square 2 epsilon d 0 d 1 plus epsilon square d 1 square plus 2 d 0 d 2. So, this way we can write down these terms, other terms also can be written, and substituting these things in this original equation and separating the order of epsilon. So, we can get, so this is epsilon to the power 1 d 0 square x 1 plus omega 0 square x 1 equal to 0, d 0 square x 2 plus omega 0 square x 2 equal to this equation. So, here you just see left side we are keeping the unknown variable and right side we are keeping the known variable, and we have expanded this thing up to our epsilon cube order. So, higher order terms with epsilon 4 and higher have been neglected in this analysis. So, this way, or we have kept it up to epsilon square term, epsilon cube and higher order terms have been neglected. So, by taking this way, so we can now find the solution of the first equation in this form, that is x 1 equal to a t 1 t 2. So, a is a constant with respect to t 0. So, that is why a is written t 1 t 2, e to the power I omega 0 t 0 plus a bar e to the power minus I omega 0 t 0. So, where a bar is the complex conjugate of a. Now, substituting this x 1 equation in this equation of d 0 square x 2 plus omega 0 square x 2, that is the second equation. So, we are getting this term, and if you look it carefully you can see this term, we have a term that is minus 2 I omega 0 d 1 a to the power I omega 0 t 0. So, its particular integral, as this term contains the term e to the power I omega 0 t 0. So, its particular integral, so which you can find by substituting. So, this divided by d 0 square omega 0 square and replacing this d 0 square by minus omega 0 square, square of this term, square of this I omega 0. So, square of this term you have to find. So, this is I omega 0 square equal to minus omega 0 square. So, minus omega 0 square plus omega 0 square equal to 0. So, in the denominator it becomes 0. So, this term tends to infinite. So, as these terms tends to infinite, so this is known as the secular term. So, now eliminating, so as the solution actually is bounded, so there will be no presence of this type of term. So, this type of term should be eliminated. So, to eliminate this term, so we must have as this omega 0 not equal to 0 and e to the power I omega 0 t 0 is not equal to 0. So, the only term which is 0 is d 1 a, that is equal to d a by d t 1 equal to 0. So, this way we got this thing. So, now substituting this d 1 a equal to 0. So, we can get the, or putting the secular term equal to 0. So, we can find the expression for x 2, which is nothing but the particular solution of that expression. So, now substituting the value of x 1 x 2 in the third equation, we can get this equation, and here also we have to check the term with e to the power I omega 0 t 0. So, that term will leads to a secular term and that term has to be eliminated. So, by substituting that thing, so we can see, so this putting this thing 0, so this is the secular term. So, now by substituting the secular term to be 0, so we can find the required expressions, so which will give rise to, or which will give our condition to find these coefficients a. So, here now this 2 I omega 0 d 2 a plus 9 alpha 3 omega 0 square minus 10 alpha 2 square by 3 omega 0 square a bar equal to 0. So, already you know a is a complex number. So, as a is a complex number, we can write this thing by using half a e to the power I beta, that is its polar form, where a and beta are real numbers. So, now substituting a equal to half a e to the power I beta. So, in this equation, so we can get omega a dash equal to 0. So, a must be a constant, as a must be a constant, and the second equation leads to omega 0 a beta dash plus 10 alpha 2 square minus 9 alpha 3 omega 0 square by 24 omega 0 square a cube equal to 0. So, from this thing, so we can get beta dash expression. So, now you just see in the right hand side. So, this is a constant. So, beta dash is a constant. So, beta must be, so expression for beta will be equal to this. So, it must, so as it is a constant. So, integration of this thing equal to this into T2. So, you just see this dash with respect to T2. So, this beta equal to this one. So, now by substituting this beta value in this original equation, so we can get the expression for A and also get the expression for x. So, from this thing, so we can get a relation between omega and A. So, unlike in linear system where omega and A are independent, here omega is a function, omega that is frequency of the nonlinear response is a function of the amplitude of oscillation. So, we can plot this equation to get the relation between omega and A, and then knowing this relation between omega and A, we can find the value of x and we can plot x versus t to get the free vibration response of the system. So, this is an assignment to plot or find the response of free vibration of a system with quadratic and cubic nonlinearity. You can change different value of the system parameters like this alpha 1 equal to omega 0 square, alpha 2 and other parameters, and you can plot different response of the system. So, today class we are going to start. So, this is for the free vibration case. So, let us take one example, one more example. So, two or three more examples we will see today class, and then we will start the method of averaging also. So, let us apply this method of multiple scale to force vibration of the system. So, in case of force vibration, so let us take a spring mass damper system. So, we have a spring mass damper system subjected to some forcing. So, this is the spring mass damper system. So, this is the mass, this is the spring, and we have taken the spring to be nonlinear. So, the spring is taken to be nonlinear and this is the damping C, this is mass m and it is subjected to a force. So, this type of force F cos omega t. So, this type of system equation can be written, already you know different methods to write down find the equation of motion. So, it can be conveniently written. So, assuming we have a cubic nonlinear term or cubic nonlinear spring, then this equation can be written by using this equation, that is u double dot plus omega 0 square u plus 2 epsilon mu u dot plus epsilon alpha u cube equal to epsilon k cos omega t. Here epsilon is a bookkeeping parameter whose value bookkeeping parameter, and it is used to show the terms are one order less than the linear term, that of the linear term. So, this is the linear term omega 0 square u. So, this is the damping term 2 epsilon mu u dot. So, here damping is one order less than the linear, that is why we are using this epsilon here. Similarly, this nonlinearity we are assuming one order less than the linear one, that is why we are using one epsilon here. Similarly, the forcing we are assuming to be one order less than that of the linear one. So, that is why in our equation we are writing u double dot. So, here u is the displacement. So, u is the displacement of the mass. So, u double dot. So, that is the acceleration term, you can tell or think in that way. So, actually m u double dot is the inertia force, and then this m is divided everywhere. So, that k by m gives rise to this omega 0 square, and then c by m give rise to 2 epsilon mu u dot, generally it is written also zeta, 2 epsilon zeta u dot, either you can write mu or zeta. So, plus this. So, if we are using some nonlinear stiffness term, for example, k dash. So, this is k dash u cube, k dash u cube. So, here k dash u cube divided by m, so that will give you epsilon alpha. So, this k dash by m will be epsilon alpha. So, that is why this term becomes epsilon alpha u cube, and in the forcing side, forcing f cos omega t is there. So, divided by this m is divided everywhere. So, this f by m can be written. So, this f by f by m can be written as epsilon k and cos omega t. So, this way you can derive this equation of motion. So, after knowing this equation of motion, so let us apply the method of multiple scale to find the response of the system. So, here we are interested to study near the resonance condition, simple resonance condition, that is when this natural frequency, when this external frequency omega is the external frequency, when the external frequency omega is near to the natural frequency omega 0. So, omega 0 that is equal to k by root over k by m. So, we are taking so equal to omega 0. So, by using a detuning parameter sigma is known as the detuning parameter. So, using a detuning parameter, so we can write the nearness of the external frequency to the natural frequency. For example, so let the natural frequency is 2 Hz. If the natural frequency is 2 Hz, okay, or we can write, either you can write, so natural frequency is 2 Hz, or so you can write in omega also. So, 2 pi f is the natural frequency, 2 pi f equal to 2 here we have taken. So, omega 0 equal to, so this is equal to 4 pi. So, you have taken 4 pi is the 4 pi radian per second is the natural frequency of the system. So, if you are taking omega 0 equal to 4 pi radian per second, so we are interested to investigate near omega equal to 4 pi plus minus epsilon, or we can write only the plus also. So, plus minus epsilon can be written. So, epsilon sigma, plus minus epsilon sigma. So, this sigma either you write plus minus epsilon sigma where sigma will be positive, or you take 4 pi plus epsilon sigma where sigma can take a negative value also. So, that means near this 4 pi you are interested to study the value of or study the external frequency. So, pi equal to 3.14. So, 4 into 3.14 plus epsilon sigma. So, this becomes 12.96 plus minus epsilon sigma. So, we can take near to this 12.96, that is we can, for example, we can vary the value of omega. So, we can vary the value of omega, for example, from 12.75. So, let us vary this omega from 12.75 to 13.25. So, this way we can vary. So, here, so by varying this way, so here you can see the sigma is nothing but, so this 12.96 approximately you can write equal to 13. So, 13 plus epsilon sigma. So, 13, so 13 plus epsilon sigma if you are taking. So, this sigma we are taking to be, so 0.25. So, epsilon sigma equal to 0.25. So, taking epsilon, so what we have taken, so epsilon sigma equal to 0.25. So, taking this epsilon equal to 0.1. So, we can have the sigma value. So, epsilon sigma equal to 0.25. So, epsilon equal to 0.1. So, if you write epsilon equal to 0.1, so you can find sigma equal to 0.25 by 0.1. So, this way you can find the value of sigma, and you can use that value, that variation of sigma, to show the nearness of the external frequency to the natural frequency. So, we by using this detuning parameter sigma, we can vary the system parameter or the frequency to show the nearness of that frequency to that of the natural frequency. Now, again expanding this u t epsilon in this form, u 0 t 0 t 1 plus epsilon u 1 t 0 t 1. So, up to we can take 2 terms or more terms also we can take, depending on our applications we can take more and more number of terms. So, when you are taking more number of terms, so it will be difficult to solve manually. So, if you want to solve manually you can take few number of terms, but if you can use the symbolic software and write your own code, so you can take more number of terms also. So, by substituting this u equal to u0 plus epsilon u1, so you can get the expression for u double dot equal to u0 double dot plus epsilon u1 double dot, here double dot also this d square by dt square. So, you can replace it by the expression you have already seen, that is d0 square plus other terms are there. So, already you have seen that expression. So, by substituting this thing and separating of the order of epsilon, so you can get this equation. So, this equation becomes d0 square u0 plus omega 0 square u0 equal to 0, and so this is, you can see, this is the order of epsilon to the power 0. So, here unlike in the previous example, you just see we have taken a term u0 plus epsilon u1. Previously we have taken epsilon u0 plus epsilon square u1 plus epsilon cube u2. So, that way we have taken, but now we have taken a constant term plus this epsilon u1. So, as we are studying this force vibration, so in this case our response, steady state response cannot be 0. So, for that purpose there will be, so we are taking non-zero value of u0. So, that is why you are putting u0 plus epsilon u1 instead of putting this term epsilon u0 plus epsilon square u1. So, now the first equation becomes d0 square u0 plus omega 0 square u0 equal to 0, and second equation becomes d0 square u1 plus omega 0 square u1 equal to minus 2 d0 d1 u0 minus 2. So, here we can take, okay, so it is written in terms of zeta, or you can write this thing using this 2 mu. So, instead of zeta, so it will be mu. So, this is 2 mu d0 u0 minus alpha u0 q plus f cos omega 0 t0 plus sigma. So, here you just see this sigma is replaced by omega 0 t0 plus omega 0 t0 plus, okay. So, we can see this. So, we can write this capital omega equal omega t equal to omega 0 t0 plus epsilon sigma t0. So, epsilon t0 is t1, epsilon t0 becomes t1. So, that is why it is written omega 0 t0 plus sigma t1. So, epsilon t0 becomes t1. So, that is why this is epsilon t1. Okay, the solution of d0 square u0 plus omega 0 square u0 equal to, so we can write equal to a e to the power e to the I omega 0 t0 plus a bar e to the power minus I omega 0 t0, and here a is a constant with respect to t0. So, it can be a function of t1 t2. In later we can see whether it is a function of t1 t2 or not. In the previous case we have seen a becomes a constant finally, but in this case let us see, so what will happen to a. So, here initially this a is not a function of t0, because this d0 square u0 plus omega 0 square u0 equal to 0, its solution a should not be a function of t0. So, knowing this a u0, so now you can substitute this u0 in this expression. So, by substituting u0 in this expression, so we can write d0 square u1 plus omega 0 square u1 equal to minus 2 I omega 0 d1 a e to the power I omega 0 t0 plus mu a e to the power I omega 0 t0 plus 3 alpha a square a bar e to the power I omega 0 t0 minus alpha a cube e to the power 3 I omega 0 t0 plus half f. So, this f cos omega t, cos term can be written as, cos expression can be written, cos omega t can be written cos omega 0 t0. So, it can be written as e to the power I omega 0 t0 plus e to the power minus I omega 0 t0 divided by 2. So, this way you can write this expression for cos omega t0 because e to the power I theta equal to cos theta plus I sin theta. So, e to the power I theta equal to cos theta plus I sin theta. So, using that expression you can write e to the power minus I theta equal to cos theta plus minus I sin theta. So, adding these two, e to the power I theta plus e to the power minus I theta. So, this becomes 2 cos theta. So, cos theta becomes e to the power I theta plus e to the power minus I theta by 2. So, by substituting this thing, so in this forcing term, so you can write or you can find the expression for. So, you can find the expression, and here you can note. So, there are many terms with e to the power I omega t 0. So, we can combine all these things and we can write this expression. Next we can write this expression again, where we can write this d 0 square u 1 plus omega 0 square u 1 equal to minus 2 I omega 0 a dash plus. So, this d 1 a is written as a dash. So, plus mu a plus 3 alpha a square a bar e to the power I omega 0 t 0 minus alpha a cube e to the power 3 I omega 0 t 0 plus half f e to the power I omega 0 t 0 plus sigma t 1 plus its complex conjugate of the preceding term. Here the C c represent the complex conjugate of all the preceding terms. So, here you have 3 terms. So, C c represent the complex conjugate of all these 3 terms. So, here now you already know that the coefficient as this is the coefficient of e to the power I omega 0 t 0, or the first term contain the term e to the power I omega 0 t 0. So, as this term contain e to the power I omega 0 t 0, its particular integral will tends to infinite. So, that is why this is known as a secular term, but now you look this term. So, here also when sigma equal to 0, so sigma equal to 0, so this exactly equal to becomes I omega 0 t 0. So, this will also be a secular term provided the sigma is 0, but if sigma is nearer to 0 also, so it will tends to infinite or it will leads to a secular term. That is why it is known as nearly secular term or mixed secular term. So, it is nearly secular term. So, due to the presence of sigma t 1, so this is a mixed or nearly secular term. So, this term will be secular when sigma tends to 0. That means, when you are studying or taking this term sigma nearer to the omega 0 term, then this external frequency will leads to a secular term. So, this term will lead to a secular term. So, to get a bounded solution, we must kill this secular and nearly secular term, or we must eliminate the secular and nearly secular term. So, eliminating these secular and nearly secular term, so we have this expression. So, 2 I omega 0 a dash mu a plus 3 alpha a square a bar minus half f e to the power I sigma t 1 equal to 0. So, you just see, so this term actually this term into e to the power I omega 0 t 0 equal to 0. So, e to the power I omega t 0 e to the power I omega 0 t 0 cannot be 0, exponential function cannot be 0, as t tends to infinite, then only it will become 0. So, this term, the product term, so 2 I omega 0 a dash plus mu a plus 3 alpha a square a bar minus half f e to the power I sigma t 1 becomes 0. So, as a is a complex number as explained before, so a can be substituted by half a e to the power I beta, and substituting this and separating the real and imaginary terms. So, we can get these two expression. So, that is a dash equal to minus mu a plus half f by omega 0 sin sigma t 1 minus beta, and a beta dash equal to 3 by 8 alpha by omega 0 a cube minus half f by omega 0 cos sigma t 1 minus beta. So, for steady state, so you can solve this equation by using Runge-Kutta method to find the relation between this A and omega or A and sigma. So, this is known as your frequency response plot. So, you can plot the frequency response plot and you can plot this. So, this will be given as an assignment, and for steady state, or you can plot also A versus T, how A is varying with respect to time and how this gamma beta is also varying with time, you can plot. So, now to write down this equation in its autonomous form. So, you just see explicitly, so it is a time term is coming in the right hand side, a time term T1 which is equal to epsilon T. So, it is coming in the right hand side. So, by writing another term gamma equal to sigma T1 minus beta. So, we can write down this first expression equal to gamma A dash equal to minus mu A plus half f by omega 0 sin gamma. Similarly, the second equation can be written. So, you just see gamma equal to this. So, gamma dash, that is d gamma by dt 1 will be equal to sigma minus beta dash d beta by dt equal to d beta by dt 1 equal to beta dash. So, gamma dash equal to sigma minus beta dash, or beta dash can be written, sigma minus gamma dash. So, by substituting this sigma minus beta dash here, so we can write the second expression. So, by substituting this way you can write the equation. So, substituting gamma equal to sigma T1 minus beta. So, we can write A dash equal to minus mu A plus half f by omega 0 sin gamma, and A gamma dash equal to A sigma minus 3 by 8 alpha by omega 0 A cube plus half f by omega 0 cos gamma. So, for steady state, this A dash and gamma dash will be equal to 0. So, the resulting solution we can write in terms of A. So, now by putting that is equal to, so this is the expression we will get for steady state solution. A dash we have substituted 0 and gamma dash also substituted 0. So, our equation becomes mu A equal to half f by omega 0 sin gamma, A sigma minus 3 by 8 alpha by omega 0 A cube equal to minus half f by omega 0 cos gamma. Now, by squaring and adding, so sin square gamma and cos square gamma. So, we have, so this you can square and add. So, by squaring and adding, so we can get an expression like this, where it is mu square plus sigma minus 3 by 8 alpha by omega 0 A square whole square into A square. So, you just see, so this equation contain A square whole square A to the power 4, and outside also you have A square. So, a term where we have A to the power 6, and the same expression, so is in the form of a quadratic, that is sigma square, quadratic in sigma. So, this expression is quadratic in sigma, but 6th power in terms of displacement A. So, we can write down this quadratic equation, and we know the solution of a quadratic equation. And so, that is, if we have a equation, for example, A x square plus b x plus c equal to 0, or here we have the sigma. So, we can write in terms of sigma also, or A sigma plus b, A sigma square plus b sigma plus c equal to 0. So, you know the solution which it can be written, where sigma equal to minus b plus minus root over b square minus 4ac by 2a, using that expression. So, you can find the expression for sigma. So, you can find the expression for sigma, which is equal to sigma equal to 3 by 8 alpha by omega 0 A square plus minus k square by 4 omega 0 square A square minus mu square to the power half. So, you can study the response, that is the frequency response of the system, by plotting A versus sigma for different value of, so you can have different value of alpha, different value of k, different value of mu. So, by changing all these parameters, so you can study the frequency response plot. So, this will be given as an assignment for you to plot this A versus sigma and study the frequency response of the system and its effect due to damping, due to this nonlinearity and due to, so you just see, so you have a term k, so which is for the forcing, amplitude of forcing. So, those things we will study when we are going to study exactly on the response of the system. So, this way you can solve this differential equation by using method of multiple scale. So, in this example we have seen the study of an force vibrated system. If the system is subjected to forcing, a weak forcing. So, here you have seen the system is subjected to one weak forcing. Weak forcing means the forcing term is one order less than that of the linear term. So, if it is not one order less than that of the linear term, so we can tell that the forcing is strong. So, in case of the strong forcing, so later we will see how we can use this method of multiple scale or other method to find the response of the system. So, next, so let us we can take another example also. So, let us take another example where we have studied a system, a parametrically excited system. So, already I have given you the example of a, so for example, we have seen the example. So, example of a of a simple pendulum where the platform is moving up and down. So, if the platform is moving up and down, so the motion of the platform is taking place in this direction, but the motion of this pendulum is taking place in this direction. So, the pendulum is moving. So, the pendulum is moving in a direction that is perpendicular to that of the motion of the platform. So, in such a cases the equation can be written where the forcing term is the coefficient of the response, and this type of excitations are generally known as parametric excitation. So, let us take the example of a parametrically excited system and let us see how we can use this method of multiple scale to solve this type of equation. So, actually this equation is written for a system base excited system or okay. So, there are several types of systems can be taken which will represent this thing. So, this is generalized case is taken. So, in this case, so we have a cantilever beam subjected to, so this cantilever beam subjected to magnetic field. So, this is a conducting beam and subjected to magnetic field. So, due to this presence of this magnetic field, so it will be subjected to a compressive load, and so due to that compressive load and considering this large amplitude of vibration, so the system can be considered as that of a forced and parametrically excited systems also, or sometime if that forcing is weak, then it can be that of a parametrically excited system, as the system is considered to be having large deflection. So, it can be considered as nonlinear systems also. So, you can see physically this equation contains, like I previously told, you have divided this m here in this equation and you can write this thing by using this non-dimensional form. So, by writing this non-dimensional form, so you can have this equation in this way. So, that is q double dot plus 2 epsilon zeta q dot plus q plus epsilon into alpha 1 q cube plus alpha 2 q square q double dot plus alpha 3 q dot square q minus epsilon f1 cos 2 omega bar tau into cube. Okay. So, minus epsilon k1 into 1 plus cos 2 omega bar tau into q dot q square. So, here clearly you can observe this equation. Okay. So, in this equation you just observe the nonlinear term. So, this is alpha 1 q cube. So, this is geometric nonlinear term, and these two terms clearly you can see. So, here q square into q double dot is acceleration. So, it is multiplied by this displacement square. So, due to the presence of acceleration, so this term is known as inertia nonlinear term, and this is product of two velocity is acceleration. So, due to the presence of acceleration, so this is also known as inertia nonlinear term. So, these two terms are inertia nonlinear term and this is geometric nonlinear term. So, this term which is a time varying term is coefficient of q. So, that is why it is known as a parametrically excited term, and this part of this equation you can see this forcing term is the coefficient of this nonlinear variable, that is q dot into q square. So, this q due to presence of this q dot and q square. So, this is a nonlinear term, and as this time varying term is coefficient of this variable. So, that is why also this is nonlinear parametrically excited system. So, now proceeding in the similar way as we did before, taking this q equal to q 0 plus epsilon q 1 and taking this d by d tau. So, here actually when we have derived this equation, so we have taken this tau equal to omega 0 t. So, that is why this tau is the non-dimensional time. So, you can have a term k by m which is equal to omega 0 square. So, now this d square by d t square can be written as omega 0 square d square by d tau square. So, dividing that term everywhere, that is why this coefficient of this q becomes 1. That is why we are using this non-dimensional time tau here instead of the real time t. So, d by d tau can be written here as d 0 plus epsilon d 1. Similarly, this d square by d tau square can be written as d 0 square plus 2 epsilon d 0 d 1. So, here you just note that we have neglected the term with epsilon square. So, when you are manually doing this thing, you may neglect that higher order terms, but if you are doing using the symbolic software, so conveniently you can use this higher order term to write down this equation also. So, this epsilon, now separating the terms with coefficient of different order of epsilon. So, we can write down this equation. So, order of epsilon 0. So, this is the equation with order of epsilon 0. So, this is the equation with order of epsilon 1. So, we know the solution of this order of epsilon 0, that is q 0 equal to, like previous case we can here also write q 0 equal to a t 1 t 2 e to the power I t 0 plus a t 1 t 2 e to the power minus I t 0. So, here you just see omega 0 equal to 1, that is why it is I t 0. So, now you can write this d 0 square q 1 plus q 1 equal to minus 2 I a dash plus 2 I zeta a plus 3 alpha 1 minus alpha 3 alpha 2 plus alpha 3 minus I k 1 into a square a bar e to the power I t 0 plus nu into a cube e to the power 3 I t 0 plus I k 1 a cube e to the power 3 I t 0 plus f 1 by 2 a bar e to the power I 2 omega bar minus 1 t 0 with this higher order. So, higher order frequency or higher frequency 2 omega bar here and 2 omega bar here also, and here you are taking another term, that is minus I k 1 by 2 a bar square a e to the power I 2 omega bar minus 1 t 0. Okay, so, here omega bar, that is the external frequency, we are taking equal to 1 plus epsilon sigma. So, like previously explanation, so the sigma is the detuning parameter. So, here nu we have taken nu equal to minus alpha 1 plus alpha 2 plus alpha 3, which is used here. So, now you can see the terms clearly, you can observe from the terms that coefficient of e to the power I t 0. So, here coefficient of q 1 is 1, that is why it is I t 0. So, that due to the presence of the term e to the power I t 0. So, this is a secular term and this term becomes secular. So, this 2 I omega 1 minus omega 1. So, when this 2 omega bar minus omega 1 becomes 1, so then this term will become secular. So, from here, so we know this omega bar equal to 2 or 2 omega bar equal to 2 or omega bar nearly equal to 1. So, we can take the condition, that is omega bar nearly equal to 1. So, to write down the nearness of 1. So, we can use this detuning parameter. So, this is a nearly secular term. Similarly, here we can see 2 omega bar minus 1. So, already we have seen this term and another term we are seeing this is 3 minus 2 omega bar also. So, 3 minus 2 omega bar can be nearly equal to 1. So, in that case also we can have these 2 omega bar equal to 2 omega bar equal to 2 or omega bar nearly equal to 2, nearly equal to 1. So, these term and this term conditionally gives the frequency equal to, that is omega bar equal to 1. So, as conditionally they are becoming 1. So, they are known as nearly secular term. So, as already we have explained, so these secular terms and mixed secular term or nearly secular term must be equal to 0 to have a bounded solution, because in our actual system the solution is bounded. So, by eliminating those terms, to eliminate means by putting right hand side this is equal to this term equal to 0, and by taking this a equal to half a e to the power I beta. So, here a and beta are function of t1. So, we can write by separating the real and imaginary term, we can write down this equation. So, that is equal to dA by dt2 equal to minus zeta a k1 by 8 a q plus f1 by 4 a sin gamma. So, we can use this gamma term by in a similar way. So, we can write down these two equation. So, after writing these two equations, so for steady state, so we can write this dA by dt equal to 0 and d gamma by dt equal to 0 also. So, this is T1. So, this would be T1 I think. So, this is T1 not T2. So, by putting this equal to 0. So, we can get the expression for the steady state response. So, the first order non-trivial response. So, here you can see from the first equation a into this thing equal to 0. So, either a will be 0 or this part will be 0. So, when a equal to 0, so when a equal to 0, so the response is known as trivial response. So, trivial response. So, if a not equal to 0, so a not equal to 0, so this is non-trivial response. So, we may have, so from the first equation, so it is clear that we will have both trivial state and non-trivial state. That means, if you plot this a versus sigma, so up to certain distance, so it will be stable or unstable. That means, this 0 line is also a solution. So, when we will study stability, we will know more about this thing. So, for example, you may have a response like this. So, here, so this is a stable branch. So, up to certain distance the response equal to 0. So, and then this becomes unstable, you have the non-trivial response, then this is the trivial state is unstable and you can have a stable and unstable response. So, later we will study that you can have a pitchfork bifurcation here, you have a pitchfork bifurcation here, and those things we will see, and we will also study regarding the jump up phenomena, jump down phenomena, when we will study detailed regarding the response of a particular system. So, the first order non-trivial steady state response is given by this equation. So, now we can take another example. For example, let us take that of a pneumatic artificial muscle. So, this is a pneumatic artificial muscle. So, you can study more regarding this pneumatic artificial muscle. So, it has a braided ring, you can see out of this thing, and a muscle rubber like or balloon like rubber is there inside, and a braided things is there. So, you can see different type of artificial muscles. One example is the McEwen muscle. So, and you have a spring here and damper here. So, you can write down by using this Newton's second law. So, you can write down this equation of motion. So, here by using a pump and a controller, so you are feeding, you are giving this pressure to the muscle. So, due to that pressure of the muscle get contracted, and due to that it will pull this mass and the mass gets its motion. So, the equation of motion you can write conveniently by drawing this or drawing the free body diagram, and this F muscle also you can characterize, you can write down this F muscle expression by doing some experiment how this muscle force is varying with different pressure. So, here one expression is written for F muscle. So, you can write down this equation of the system in this form mu double dot plus ku plus eu dot plus F muscle equal to F sin omega t. Now, putting this F muscle expression in this way, so we have a nonlinear equation of motion. So, you just see this equation by substituting this omega 0 equal to this term. So, this equation and u equal to r x, where r is a scaling parameter, already we have defined what is a scaling parameter, and defining these non-dimensional parameter like this non-dimensional frequency omega by omega 0, damping equal to c by 2 epsilon m omega 0, alpha equal to r square k by epsilon m omega 0 square, and f equal to capital F by r epsilon m omega 0 square. So, we can write this equation in a very convenient way like this: d square x by d tau square plus 2 epsilon mu dx by d tau plus x plus epsilon alpha x q equal to epsilon f sin omega t. Like the previous cases also, here you can use this same method of multiple scale to write down x equal to x 0 plus epsilon x 1 plus epsilon square x 2. Previous example we have taken only 2 terms, here 3 terms have been taken. So, then substituting in this equation and separating of the order of epsilon 0, epsilon 1 and epsilon 2. So, we can get this expression. So, then solution of this d 0 square x 0 plus x 0 you can write in the similar way. So, this is equal to a e to the power I t 0 plus its complex conjugate, then d 0 square x 1 plus x 1 can be written in this form, and by taking this omega equal to 1 plus epsilon sigma like the previous case where we have studied the simple resonance condition. So, we can write this d 0 square x 1 plus x 1 equal to I f by 2 minus I f by 2 e to the power I into 1 plus epsilon sigma t 0 minus 2 d 1 I a e to the power I t 0 minus 2 mu I a e to the power I t 0 minus alpha a q e to the power minus e to the power 3 I t 0 minus alpha into 3 a square a bar e to the power I t 0 plus its complex conjugate of the preceding terms. So, you just see the terms containing e to the power I t 0, e to the power I t 0, e to the power I t 0 will give rise to secular terms. So, we must eliminate these secular terms to get the bounded solution. So, if you eliminate the secular term, so this is the expression you got. Similarly, here you got that means, so from this thing you can write this d 1 a equal to this way. Now, substituting this in the second equation we get okay the expression for x 1. Similarly, we can get d 2 a by substituting this x 1 x 2 in third equation and eliminating the secular term we can get d 2 a. Then we can write, you can note this point actually. So, when you are doing this higher order expansion, so you can note this dA by dt equal to, so dA by dt equal to dA by dt 1 into dt 1 by dt plus dA by dt 2 into dt 2 by dt. So, that is equal to, so as you know this dt 1 by dt equal to epsilon. So, this becomes epsilon d 1 a plus epsilon square d 2 a. Already we know the expression for d 1 a and d 2 a. By substituting these things we got this expression dA by dt is this. Then by substituting this a equal to half a e to the power I beta like the previous case and separating the real and imaginary term. So, we can have the expression for a dash and gamma dash. So, for steady state you know this a dash and gamma dash, they will not be a function of time. Steady state where it is not a function of time, t tends to infinite is the steady state response. So, then so the system this a and gamma must not be a function of time. So, that is why we can get these two equation, and by solving these two equation. So, you just see previous case the expressions are very simple. So, you got some closed form solution, but in the present case the expression are not simple. So, you cannot get a simple equation. So, you have to solve it numerically to get the expression. So, if you take the first order solution, then it will be simplified to this dA by dt equal to epsilon into minus f by 2 cos gamma minus mu a d gamma by dt equal to a epsilon sigma minus epsilon into minus f by 2 sin gamma plus 3 by 8 alpha a cube. So, when you are taking higher order, so you just see you are getting additional terms, but if you are taking only first order, then you are getting a simplified equation. So, if you take these are the numerical parameters. So, actually this work has been done by my PhD student Mr. Bhavan Kalida. So, if you take these numerical value, so you can see you can plot the original equation by solving this original differential equation, then second order MMS and first order MMS, and you can see the second order MMS is giving slightly closer result to that of the numerical solution what you have obtained. So, now you can plot this, already I have told you how to plot by solving numerically, you can plot this A versus sigma. So, now you can see when you are plotting this A versus sigma, here up to this parameter. So, up to this thing. So, you have only one solution, but after that thing you have multiple, that is 3 solutions are there. So, as you have 3 solutions. So, depending on initial conditions, actually you can get this solution. For example, if you take this minus 10, so if you take different initial condition and plot this A versus gamma, so you can see clearly, you can see this is the point, you have a stable point, stable value of response amplitude, stable value of response amplitude is this value you are getting. So, less than 0.1 you are getting, which you are clearly seeing from the basin of attraction. So, this is the value less than 0.1, but if you are taking another point, let us take another point here. If you take another point plus 10, so you just see you have 1, 2 and 3 solution. So, out of which 2 solutions are stable and 1 is unstable, that stability part we will study later. So, you can clearly see this is one stable solution, this is one stable solution and this is another stable solution and this is the unstable solution which is a saddle point. So, this way you can study, or you can also use study the system by using different system parameter, for example, damping, changing the pressure, changing the force and changing the stiffness parameter, and you can study the system. So, this way you can study different system, different nonlinear systems by using this method of multiple scale. So, next class we are going to study regarding this method of averaging, and also briefly I will tell what are the other different methods recently available to solve these nonlinear differential equations. So, thank you very much for listening to this class. Thank you.